Welcome back to another episode of Talkin to Missy.
And ready.
And today, what are we talking about?
We're talking about loneliness.
Loneliness, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So being lonely. So yes. What effects do it have? What effects does being lonely have on yourself, others, and what is considered loneliness, I guess?
Okay, so loneliness. So loneliness is a feeling of being in absolute, not solitude, but like you're all by yourself. Yeah, you feel like you're by yourself alone. You feel like you're like solo. Like what word would we use for that? Like it would be like really, really. But it's not a good loneliness. I mean, it's not a good like alone. It's not like it can't be solitude. It's because
it's
like a depressed, alone type of feeling.
Yeah,
you feel alone and you feel it's miserable loneliness. I mean, miserable.
It's miserable.
Miserable. Alone, being miserable all by yourself.
I guess I don't know because I don't think people have to be miserable to be lonely, but
loneliness is not a good thing.
No, loneliness is not a good thing. Let's just start. Loneliness is just the I don't know. The
being alone is different than being lonely. That's what I'm trying to get across right now. So being alone, for example, I'm a loner, right? I like to do things by myself. I like to be by myself. I do and stuff. And then that's not technically loneliness. That's what I'm trying to get across. So It might sound all jumbled and like not coming together, but I'm pretty much saying that being alone is different than being lonely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about both of those today.
Okay.
So let's talk about being alone. Why is it so hard for my peoples out there listening? A lot of people struggle with being alone by themselves. Most people need to be around someone, sociable, and have someone kind of there at a numerous amount of, time in their life. So what is the feeling of taking that away? Like, what do they go through when they don't have someone? And I'm talking about friends, relationship, everything, because you do get lonely, and not lonely like bored because you ain't got nobody, your friend at work today and you can't talk to her, but lonely as if like when people are not in your presence, you start to fall into like this, this spiral.
I think that being lonely is like a type of anxiety from being away from other people. Like I honestly think that majority of people is sociable creatures. We like to congregate with each other. We like to come together and socialize. But I believe that pretty much when that is taken away from you or that's not available to a lot of people, even me, you just heard me say that I like to be alone, right? But if that was 100% the case, I wouldn't be with another person at all. You know what I mean? I would literally be alone. You know what I mean? I find solitude and a comfortability in being by myself. And I still have somebody else that I do like to be around. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when she's not around, a lot of the times I do feel lonely. I do feel like, something was taken away from me or something is missing. You know what I mean? So I think that being lonely is missing that sociable element that a lot of humans crave, a lot of people crave, like, and it makes you kind of feel like I keep on going back to depressed, but it makes you feel like you it's an anxiety. You feel like something is missing. Like you feel like you don't have it all. Mm-hmm. Like that's why I feel like loneliness brings.
Got you.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, you put it together pretty good.
Yeah. Because I struggled with this kind of in a way, not the lonely part, but I struggled with the alone part. Like, you know what I mean? Like I really do like to be by myself. You know what I mean? I for me to think without any distractions and stuff like that, you know what I mean? People call it meditation or whatever, but I really like to be myself to gather my thoughts. Like, when I'm around a lot of people, it makes me feel kind of congested. You know, it makes me feel, I always use the word claustrophobic. I know that's not the right terminology about being around a lot of people, you know, I'm trying to give across being in a closed, confined area. So when I'm around a lot of people, I feel that. I feel like stuffy. I feel like, you know, congested. But I don't technically feel like, I don't feel lonely when that is taken away. I don't feel lonely. Like when I'm by myself, I don't technically feel lonely. I feel just fine.
Yeah, well, some people feel lonely by themselves even when they need to meditate, you know? Like sometimes you just need somebody there. Like you just need somebody, even if you're not even paying attention to them, if you're not talking to them, you just need you need a presence there to not feel lonely.
Having like an animal could take away loneliness,
exactly.
You know, or having some people find security inside of like objects, you know what I mean? They can have like a stuffed animal or something like that. They want, you know, like a child, you know, a child could be really lonely when he's sleeping, but you give him his teddy bear, he's not as lonely no more. He feels way more comfortable. You feel like something is there.
Yes. Like even, so it starts from young age out the womb, but I lost my train of thought.
Okay, so let me just jump in right there. Pretty much, I do know though that you can also feel lonely when you're around another person. Like,
I was getting to that. That's okay. Probably what I was getting to.
Okay, you know me and you, that telepathy. Okay. Telepathy. It was telepathy.
Okay, you can't to not talk.
Telepathy.
Just stop.
Telepathy. I can't say it right now.
Whatever.
Telepathy.
Just be quiet.
Okay, you know what I mean.
So yeah, that is a true case too. Even if you are with others, you can still feel alone in that, you know, you could. And that just stems from probably lack of compatibility, lack of interest, you know, things of that nature.
I know that I feel really lonely at like parties, like social gatherings. I feel really, really, really lonely. I feel like out of place. Like I feel like, you know, removed. I feel removed. Like I'm by myself. I do feel like that. I feel more alone with a lot of people than I do when I'm by myself.
Yeah, and that's, people will probably think like, wow, how that work, you know, because it's parties, a lot of people there, but that's just not your element to be in.
No.
You know? Like, I mean, I feel bored when I'm at certain parties and stuff like that. I'm uninterested, but not
alone. Like you wouldn't, I wouldn't go as far as like, well, sometimes it's boredom, but even when I'm not doing nothing, you can call that boredom, but I'm not technically lonely because of that.
Yeah. Well, let's just switch corners for a minute.
Okay.
When is it extreme? What's one of the extreme things that people do just to fill the void of being alone?
Oh, there's a lot of things people do.
Yeah, like, you know, like it's a damper and it's probably a reward at the same time. I'm going to talk about relationships first.
Okay.
Because people who cannot be by themselves fall into these relationships and they just open up their arms to anyone just to have a mate.
They settle for less.
Just to have someone there in the presence all the time.
Yeah, they settle for their less. Yeah. Like they'll be with somebody that they're totally uninterested in, but for the sake of not being alone.
Yes, exactly. And then it's just like, how do you... I mean, it's okay for some. They get through life that way.
Okay.
But you're just filling in the void with something that's kind of imaginary because you're not happy still. But I guess you filled in the void of being alone and you settled with your happiness in a way.
Okay.
So how does that even, you know, because there's so many things we can go on. But how do you, as a person that would do that, how do you look at the mindset that's like, okay, I don't want to be with this person for nothing else besides to fill in my void of being alone?
That's selfish, first of all. That's selfish. Because of, you don't know if the other person is there because he genuinely or she's genuinely interested in you, and but you're just trying to get somebody to fill in something that you're, you know, like.
But I think that's what people do.
People
not all people,
do that.
but I'm just saying that is like a instinct that people do because people are self
Gratifiers.
Yeah, first,
Yeah.
So of course, if they will hold on to something just so that they don't lose that one thing. They will hold on to someone just to fill the void of loneliness. Being alone, even if they were uninterested.
I get that.
In that person.
Yeah, I get that. But I think that pretty much you should find other things than just being with somebody for the sake of not being alone. You should find something that you're interested or something that makes you want to share yourself with somebody else versus just taking from somebody else. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that for somebody to want to feel their loneliness, I feel like, first of all, they got to figure themselves out. They got to figure out, like, why are they lonely in the first place? Like, because like I told you before, me being with a lot of people, I could feel lonely. So I already established that being around people don't cure my loneliness. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like my cure is more bonding with somebody that I'm really into. That cures my loneliness, because I could be around a whole bunch of people that I'm into, you know what I mean? I still feel a little claustrophobic, but at the same time, it's way more enjoyable than me just going to a random party just for the sake of having fun. Like, so for you to cure your loneliness, in my opinion, I feel like you first have to figure out what makes you lonely in the first place.
Gotcha.
So if you think that a relationship is what you need and stuff like that, I think that you need to find out what do you like about the opposite person to actually be in a relationship with somebody that you're interested in, not just for the sake of not being lonely.
Got you. Well, all of my lonely folks out there, y'all heard it best.
Yeah, but I always come with the controversial comments and stuff like that, so I'm going to just say a disclaimer, like, not trying to throw no shade and stuff. I think that sometimes people even have kids to not be lonely, you know what I mean? Like, having kids like give you this type of like purpose, and then that you feel like you can give this person something, you can do something for this person, and then they're dependent on you, and they always need always want to be around you. You know what I mean? Even a grown person, a grown child still gravitates to their parents for the most part. I can't speak about everybody, but for a lot of people, they still have a high regard for their parents, even though they're adults now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that some people even have children. Like I said, I'm trying to say without like kind of like, I already said it before, people have pets too. You know what I mean? Like, people treat their pets like their children. You know what I mean? That's literally their kid. Their cats or dogs or whatever. But I think that helps people loneliness too. Some people, need a purpose. Some people need some type of dependability.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Some people need something, someone, or to depend on them.
Yeah.
So
to take care of.
Yeah. So now we as people want to do.
Yes.
We want to do, whether that's for an animal, a person, adult, a kid, a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. We have a tendency to want to do something because that's what we feel like we have a purpose in.
Right.
And when you take away that type of thing, you no longer have a purpose, and it makes you feel lonely.
Let's no shade and stuff like that. I feel like I love all my parents out there. Like, I have a couple parents probably watching, but I feel like after our parents grew up, you know what I mean? Like, their purpose, like, it was hard for them to kind of figure out what to do next. They still gravitate to their children. You know what I mean? Like, they still, want to do so much and be there for their kids. Like, they still want to help.
Grandchildren nowadays.
Yeah, they want to help. They want to assist. They want, they want to do something. They still want to be a part of your life and stuff. Like, they don't want to just be like, because when I grew up, I had this thing about like, I wanted to do it my way. You know what I mean? I still kind of have that. Like, I want to raise kids my own way. I want to take care of my pets my own way. I want to take care of my house my own way. I want to pay my bills. I didn't really want somebody to come in and assist me and give me pointers, because I wanted to go through the heartache and the hardship of doing it and figuring it out. I wanted to go through the experience. I didn't want somebody to just come in and kind of say, you making that spaghetti wrong. Yeah, you need to stir it like this. I didn't want somebody to come and take that from me because I feel like they already have their chance. Like, I feel like they had me, and there was a lot of things that they done that I didn't like or I would have done differently. And pretty much when they came in my life and they wanted to do that with my life, it was like stepping on my toes. So, and then I feel like them wanting to come inside of my life. I know it sounds like I'm changing topics, but
yeah, it does.
Yeah,
actually, I'm following you though.
Yeah, it just feel like them being not. I don't know if they're lonely. I never really talked to them about this, but it feel like since they didn't have something to take care of, they still wanted to take care of me. That's what I'm trying to say. They still wanted to assist me. They still wanted to do something, and that's what parents do. But they still wanted to kind of like, I don't know. It's like I'm pretty much saying that, like, after your kid grows up, you still want to be a part of their life. Like, you still want to do stuff for them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, and then you're
So you keep your purpose going.
Yeah,
by still being involved in your children's life or your grandchildren's life.
It's
because
like
without that, you lose purpose and you get lonely.
Yeah, so it's like I know you guys probably heard of like the parents that have kids after their kids grew up, and then I'm like, dang, you just had this kid for this much years. They grew up, they living their life, and then you want to do that all over again? They do that. Yeah, they do. Some people do that. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm pretty much saying. I know it sounds kind of rough the way I was putting it, but and I think that could be a case of loneliness. I think that could be because of
that can stem from loneliness.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. So I was trying to. So it sound like I was changing topics and all that. It took that was a big example of, like, you know, once your kid grow up, you can become lonely again. You can become lonely again. That's what I'm saying.
Got you.
That was the point of all that.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Y'all following him?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That was a lot.
Okay. So, and then it works for everyone, because I think everyone goes through loneliness.
Everyone.
I believe everyone goes through loneliness at some point in their life, you know, for sure.
They say that it's lonely at the top.
It's lonely at the bottom. It's lonely, you know, and it's just really what I see. Like, you know, social media, TV, like when you sit back and you just watch certain things, and it's just like, people are really lonely out here. They are. You know, maybe momentarily they have somebody, you know, entertaining them, or they are doing something that they enjoy or whatever. But you got to think about the people that got to work, the jobs they don't like. You know, you got to think about the people that got to go places they don't really enjoy. You got to think about all those things.
What about the people that actually do work the jobs that they like? You know what I mean? Like, some people find solitude in going to work, and that's probably carrying their loneliness too. They want to go to work. They
want to go to work, but at the end of the day, they want to go to work because they probably feel like something in them, you know? But those people who dedicate probably all the time to work probably ain't got nobody at home. So when they leave work, then what? They probably lonely.
You can have kids, wife, husband, whatever, and still feel 100% lonely. Like, you know what I mean? Sure. Like, you know, sometimes people is more lonely at home with their family than they are when they're at work. You know what I mean? They probably want to, you know, when they come home and they have, like, you know, the house is being ran and being taken care of without them, and they don't have like a place or purpose, and they just want to leave. Yeah. You know what I mean? Their house is just their living place. It's just a place that they sleep. The sleeping quarters. There you go.
Yeah, I think people can make themselves lonely too. Like, not even just naturally going off of that. I think people worry about so much stuff that they actually create a loneliness for themselves. It's like a protective protection to themselves.
Give me more on that. Elaborate more.
So I think, like, people who, let's say, I don't know, let's use a conspiracist. Okay. Or, you know, a conspiracist is always doing something, and most people is like, they're crazy, right? Okay. So because of that, they probably become lonely because no one understands them now. The whole world think they crazy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So then they create that lonely world for themselves because they believe in something so much. When their surroundings think that they're just crazy, it becomes lonely. That's what I'm saying.
I see. Like, I know that when you have a totally different mindset
yes.
than a lot of people are belief, yeah, that's a good one.
It becomes lonely.
You do become lonely.
Yes.
So do you think that people always look for a way to cure their loneliness? Because sometimes I think that people they get used to their loneliness. You know what I mean?
I think some do look for a way to cure loneliness. I think people go through this stage where they're trying to figure out and they're just doing anything and everything just to fill it in. Mm-hmm. But until they realize that what it is, until they realize like nothing actually works. And then I think they just live with it. Yeah.
It sounds like a horrible way to live your 100% 24/7 life, like to be lonely all the time. Like I said, again, being lonely and being alone is two different things. Like, being by yourself and being lonely is two totally different things.
Yeah, and I also think loneliness can come from trauma.
Oh yeah.
Also, being not wanting to be alone can also stem from a traumatic experience that you've had.
Okay.
So, it's different elements of why people are lonely or what makes somebody lonely.
Okay. Like, I don't know. Like, I just know that a lot of people is like, they're searching. A lot of people is searching for things to fill in that void.
Yes, exactly.
They're searching.
And it's not like, and then, I think we talked about this like a while back. We brought it up. But we talked about how the world is becoming so innovative that it's taking away human purpose in a way.
Yeah.
Jobs, are becoming robots. Like, self-check. They have all these things now. Cars is driving by themselves. Like, it's taking away the do of what humans naturally want to do.
Well, that's not the this is not the first time that this has happened. This is happening in a wide scale. Yeah, but we had the Industrial Revolution as well. And then a lot of jobs was taken away. Like, people used to I think that they used to like sew or something like that. They like used to do it themselves. Yes. I forgot the trade that used to be done, but now it was automated. Or like print and press. People used to have to do all this work to print out a newspaper or paper itself. But and then it was innovative. I mean, they innovated it, but pretty much it got better and then it was automated. There you go. It was automated.
Right. And then now it's at a greater scale because how much did you actually see many people expressing their loneliness or their self-care, self-help? Like, it wasn't really that rapid. Today it's like extremely rapid.
Well, I wasn't alive back then, so I don't really know exactly. I just read on it. But
therapists probably got the most
therapist is probably the loneliness. I mean, loneliest.
You think so?
Yeah, because a therapist got to hear everybody else's problems. I'm gonna give you a example. Like, let's go like this. Like, a police officer that sees like a lot of gruesome things and stuff like that is really either numb to life or is really, really traumatized. Either or. He's numb to it or he's traumatized. So that's how I think of a therapist. I think of a therapist as being numb to when people are speaking to them, or they're traumatized from all. They probably won't express that to their clients, of course, but then they go home and they hear about the things and, replay them in their head. It can really have an effect on a person, Or they just numb to it, I mean, they're just doing their job and then they're giving them a diagnosis or whatever.
Some people might find enjoyment in it too.
Yeah, they might find enjoyment. Yeah, you're right. I
think for the most part, you can see it as a lonely world to them.
Yes. I can't speak for every therapist, but I'm just saying that, that job.
To help others can be lonely.
Yeah, even though they enjoy their job. What I mean? I'm pretty sure like a doctor enjoys their job and stuff like that. But then when it's a patient that they can't save, it still has some type of effect on them. Well, most of them, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So even though they enjoy their practice, they enjoy it, but then, it still affects them. So I'm not saying that therapists only could be traumatized or numb. I should have been more specific, but I'm saying that these could be repercussions of the trait that they have. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I get what you're saying.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
But yeah, well, we all experience loneliness.
I'm pretty sure.
People who feel like they can't be alone feel like something's wrong with them.
Okay.
Personally, I wouldn't say nothing's wrong with them.
Okay.
Or people who fall into deep loneliness feel like something's wrong with them. I don't think nothing's wrong with them. Personally, I don't think nothing's wrong with people who don't want to be alone, or that people who don't want to deal with loneliness. Personally,
You don't think that that's a problem? I don't want to deal with loneliness.
like yeah, I don't feel like it's a problem. Like, you know how some people be like, just deal with it, like, you know. But those people who have an issue with it, or do things like, you know, get into relationships because they don't want to be alone, or they have a hard time being by themselves, I really don't feel like that's really an issue.
Yeah, I think that it's all personal preference. Like, I'm just never the type of person to tell a person how they should feel.
I don't think it's an issue personally, because I think we weren't made to want to be alone. Like, I think
a lot of humans is sociable.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, humans is, for the main part, I can't speak for everybody, but for the main part, is sociable creatures. I think.
So that's why when we do experience loneliness, it catches our attention.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, why? You know, we got to go search, like you said, and figure out, because naturally, I don't think we were supposed to be, you know, I don't think that we are individual solo people. Like, we here to have a purpose, whether that's with others or by ourselves, or with a pet, you know, whatever. So to experience loneliness and stuff like that, I think is because you're missing something. But I don't think nothing's wrong with you. I just think you got to find out what it is that you enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's our take on loneliness. Let us know how you feel about loneliness, because, you know, I'm pretty sure there's some other type of opinions out there, some other type of takes on loneliness. But let us know how you feel, and then we will read them, and then we might put them inside of a different type of video. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But until next time, we are out. Deuces.